Hi all, namaste. Hope you all are doing good. So today we are going to cover everything about database. So first part will be about how to connect, which will be a small part. Second part we are going to explore the tables, and third part there is one common question that is asked. We are going to cover that. So definitely if you know how to connect, if you don't know, still by the end of the video before we discuss, definitely everyone will come across something new that you will feel that I should have known this before. So let's get started. And first of all, it's not about Java or non Java. We are going to cover everything. If Java, then how to connect. If not Java, then how to connect. Okay. So let's get started. And before that, please do subscribe. Yeah. So first of all, when you're downloading any distribution, be it a Tomcat distribution, be it a Spring distribution, by default you are getting in H2, be it the in-memory H2, be it the on-disk. If you don't know what is the difference, in-memory H2, it's like every time you shut down the application, every content that is performed on the database gets erased. In disk means even the internal memory, that is the H2 database, will have a persistent data. That means even if you stop, you start again you will have the data. So okay, that's it. Now let's get onto the connection part. So as of now, let's say you downloaded the Spring and you have H2 database, and how let's say I want to connect to MySQL. So let's see how we can do that. Same thing we are going to cover in the Tomcat. Okay, and similar things can be done for the other Node.js and other applications. So many of you are already familiar with this, but stay put on a hold for some time. You'll definitely come across something new. Okay, so here is the thing. I don't code in this much big font. This is just for visual purpose. So first of all, whatever connections we are making with the database, its corresponding dependency will be there. So by default, since we are using H2, this dependency will be there already as soon as you download. So comment it out. We don't need it. Okay, now for our demo, I am going to connect to MySQL. So for that, what I need to do in my Spring Boot, Tomcat put aside, we'll talk about it in a minute. So first I need to put the required dependency for MySQL. If you are connecting to MongoDB, search for MongoDB database dependency, put it in your pom.xml. So there are many people who are not familiar with Spring. That's why I'm mentioning the file names as well. So pom.xml has all the dependencies. Just put the required database dependency here. That's it. So here we did one change, and the second change will be, if you see, this will be the structure. In there we have source, main, resources. So here you'll have one file which is application.yml. I'm not talking about environment specific or anything because that is out of scope. So let's see this. We have one file called application.yml, which is not a custom file, it is an inbuilt file. So here just give the properties. Okay, and definitely we have other methods of connecting to database, but this is one of them. So just provide the URL, which is for me this is my URL because I am using XAMPP. So if you are not sure what is XAMPP, this is XAMPP. If you are aware, excellent. So basically you need to have database running somewhere, right? It might be a cloud, it might be on our system or anywhere. So if you are aware, excellent. So basically here my MySQL is running, and I'm simply it's running on 80 yeah, it's so basically the Tomcat is running on 80, but the database is running on 3306. So this format you will find it, the JDBC, then MySQL, then URL, and in that URL which database, because my database might have different schemas and different databases inside it. So out of that I want to connect to Camunda driver. Give any name. Okay, that's a different behavior out of scope. Next, basically I want to connect to Camunda database. What happens if we write something else? So by default, if database doesn't have tables, what is the default behavior of Camunda? It will create the tables out of it, right? So if I write ABCD here, it will create a schema or database called ABCD, and it will create a tables. Okay, let's put it aside. Next we give username, and I don't have a password because it's my local host. So if you have, just give it here. Again, encryption or all those things are out of scope. Then we have a driver class name. This will again be different for each database. I hope you know the concept of driver. If not, chill, no issues. Just find out what is the database driver for your database and put it here. Okay, and this is again not required for the connection. This is required later on, we'll talk about it. So simply we mention the database details we provided that dependency in form.xml, and we start the application. That's it. So what is the default behavior on any application? It will try to connect to the MySQL. So I hope it is clear, and that is the only changes we need to do. That's not big change, but still many people are struggling. That's why I showed. It's not anything about command, it's with any Spring Boot dependency. Now let's talk about Tomcat. So let's say I downloaded this Tomcat distribution, in which let's say this is my distribution. Okay, so here I see server, go inside that Tomcat, and there you have something called config, go inside that, and then I have server configuration. So just edit, yep, and yeah, there you go. So in here I can see there is a separate template or a tag, not template, yeah, tag, which is asking for the database connections. Okay, so by default again here the h2 database connections are present. I can simply update it to MySQL, but this is the common thing. But in the Spring Boot we added the dependency as well, right? So here how can I do that? So let's minimize that. Let's go to server back again, and this again, in server Apache Tomcat, I see a folder called library lib. Here I can put all the jars. So if you are not aware of the behavior, what is happening when we are putting some dependency here, basically whatever we are writing here, it's going to our the Maven is going to download that dependency and put it as part of uh, the required dependency in external libraries, or we can explore later on. But in the Tomcat that's not right. So we have to download it by doing Google, and we can download and put that jar in this library. So for Tomcat we have given the dependency, we have given the connection. Now start any of them and it will connect. So that was all about database connections. Now let's try to explore the tables. Okay, so yeah, my database is okay. So basically we can use various tool to view the database. So I have PHP my admin, and where is it running? Okay, localhost PHP my admin. Okay, let me wait. Oh, this is not incognito. What happened? Is it? No. Anyway, fine. So here if I see, I have different database. Out of that, our concern is about the Camunda database. So if you give ABCD there, the ABCD will create here. Okay, now let's open this and we see various tables, too many tables. Now let's okay, so whatever I'm going to tell you now, everything is present in this. Okay, this is what we have discussed, how to give various other things, but I don't know which application here we are talking about, but we have talked about Tomcat and Spring Boot. So this link I'll put in the description. And then next we are talking about this, what does each table prefix means and all. Post that we are going to try out how we can write our own custom queries and what we can do and how we can do basically from Java or non-Java application. So let's get started from this. So in yeah, this is where we want to explore. So here if I see act G, schema log. So act GE, forget act, every table is having ACT act. So next we have GE, which is common for first three tables. So GE means generic data, general data. Maybe it might be used for some common features or common data across the UI or anywhere, but it is generic data. Next we have HI means history. Okay, let's take a use case. So if I start a BPMN, right, the BPMN instance is in running condition, right? It will run for some time and then it will over, and then it is going to history. Now there's a use case, one person commented or basically asked a question, that DMN, right, as soon as you call a DMN, the decision is evaluated and it's done, over. Now it's not runtime, it's done, it's over, right? Now if I want to see what actually happened, what I can do, either I can go to the DMNs. Okay, username is you, password is you. What happened? Okay, let me refresh, because okay, username is you, password is you. Okay, yeah, decision definition, number nature, I can do like this, and I can see what is the input and what is the output. Here you are seeing null. That mistake I did intentionally. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. That is mistake done intentionally. So let's talk about this. So here I can see input and output and everything, right? So similarly, if I, this instance is done, this instance is over. Now if I want to see in the database, just think in generic. Okay, the instance is over, means it's not a runtime, means what, it definitely should be present in its own history table. So let's go to our database. I can see act hi. There are too many history tables, so we are talking about decision definition. So let's see, you can see a table called decision input and we have a decision output. So this is a decision input where I can see there is an id, there is an input one which is a variable one, and its value is null, because in actual also we can see the value was null. But the point that I want to show is, you can see there is two IDs, that is 641 something, 491 something. So here also I can see 64491 something. So basically those are present here. Okay, now the input values are this and its corresponding output values are this. Let's click on decision output, and yeah, I can see output one, nature, and which rule got executed, what is the thing, everything is given. I can see for one it is 0, for one it is positive. And let me verify here. Yeah, one is 0 and the other one is positive. So basically we are able to see the DMN data in the database. Some subscriber asked, so I just explained it explicitly, but fine. Now we know what is history table is used for. Even when the BPMN we start or the case definition we start, after the end it moves to history table, but when it is running, where is it stored? Let's see. So if I scroll down, after hi I have got id. So anything with respect to id means identity, be it information, membership, tenant, I think it's self-explanatory. Then re, let's put it aside for a minute, and then we'll talk about ru, which is runtime. So when I say I started the BPMN or CMMN, basically till the time it is running I will find it in the ru tables, and once it is done, once the workflow is closed, then it is moving to history table, right, history table. So that's why if the content is necessary, fine, otherwise put some kind of deletion on top of that after some specific duration. But okay, let's stick to which one did we miss, re, repository. So this is specific to the overall Camunda database, I can say parent. It's like a metadata, what actions are performed, and it's like a static data. It's not specific to any runtime, any specific instance. It's about overall. For example, there's nothing big thing about here. We are just based on table name we can identify that, okay, deployment is written, how many deployments are done. If I click on that, I can see, okay, only one deployment. Let's go to here and go to dashboard and go to deploy. I can see one deployment. So it's basically static data around the Camunda we can see in the RE table, which is repository tables. I hope this is crystal clear, and whatever I told just now, everything is present in this page. Again, I'll put this link in the description. So far so good. We know how to connect, we know what is there in the database, we know at some level what is happening when we do each click on the cockpit. Now the next thing is, suppose I want to do any CRUD operations. If you don't know CRUD operation, create, read, update, delete, those kind of things, what can I do? So if you are using Spring Boot, let's talk about this two methods, then we'll talk about Tomcat two methods. Same thing can be imitated for Node.js and other Django or any other frameworks. Okay, so let's say I'm using a Spring Boot. So what I can do, we are aware that we can use a delegation, task listener, execution listener to call a specific Java class and we can execute. And we know, since we are able to write a code in the Spring Boot, we can write a JPA, Hibernate, or any kind of database queries and we can execute. So basically, write a query in your Spring Boot and make a call, make a class call using the Java class option in the service or script task. So that's one method, right? So there was nothing new. This is how the basically we do. Okay, and in the Tomcat, if I want to do the same thing in Tomcat or Node on Django or any other thing, what I can do, because this option is available only for Java, but I want to use the same method for others. So what I can do is, once, okay, since Java people will be aware and non-Java will not be aware, let me just show this. So whatever I'm writing here, okay, once I want to share it with anyone, or I want to host it, or I want to deploy it somewhere, what I need to deploy, I will execute maven clean install, and finally a jar will be created. Jar. So in this jar I can see, maybe I deleted that. There will be a file created with this application name command. Okay, let me do this clean install again. So basically everything will have its jar, var, a deployable file, a shareable file. So that is what I'm generating for the Java. It will take some time because it's a community version. And then let me get back with the jar file. I can see this is started, but I can see what it is trying to do. It is trying to create a snapshot, which is jar file. And again, all this depends upon the in POM what I mentioned. So let me pause here for a minute. Okay, so we see now the build is success. Basically if I minimize now, this is not required. There is this thing called jar. So what you need to do is, basically the complete project of the Spring is now in this jar. Now what does the jar has? Every class, every calls, every JP, every queries that we are having, we have that. Now take this jar and put it in the library. So here all these things are jars only, right? So put this jar there, and you can, again you can make a call to the class, because now class is present as a part of your library and you can call it. Okay, so that's how you can call from Node, from Django, or from any other command engine with the presence of this jar. So as of now, one method is clear for every platform. Okay, now the second method is wrappers around the database. So what is this? So let's talk about this. To perform CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete, and etc. etc. on the database, will have API for everything. So let's say simple thing. If I want to get the data, what is required? Simply a table name and any filters if required. So everything will be it's a get call. Okay. Similarly, if I want to delete a call. If I want to update anything, I have post call. If I want to insert something, I have put call. So these kind of APIs either I can create, or I can use the tools which are already having this and simply make an API calls. So I think this is more simpler, but again, to have a complete control, you need to use the direct call. But again, API is also useful. Everything comes with its own pros and cons. Yeah. So the first method is direct connection. The second method is wrapper around the database, which you will be using uh, to call the APIs to perform operations on the database. So let me just show you this website. Okay, so where is this? Alternative.net. So this is not the tool. This is the website where we can find the alternative of every tool. Okay, so one such tool which I am aware is str API, directors. There is one more thing I forgot. Just a second. Yep, it was like okay, what was this? Yeah, Hasura. So you can use any of them. Let's put this str API. So I can see that what is the alternate of this tool, because I know that there is one tool which can do this. So what are all the other tools? So basically what will happen inside this? Okay, so okay, this is one thing, alternative of that, and then we have directors. It's not anything specific to Commodore, it's just that we'll okay, how this behaves, we'll talk about this. So let's try to understand that what is happening here. So as soon as I'm launching my XAMPP or this phpMyAdmin, what it is saying, internally it's connect to the database to show me the view. Similarly, so I can say phpMyAdmin is a wraparound on the database. Yes. Similarly, directors is an example which I am taking as a tool. So what it will do is, it will when we are installing or when we are doing the setup, it will ask us all the connections and everything. We'll simply say okay, here is a database. So in as soon as it connects to the database, we can see all the functionalities of the directors. Okay, now in that functionality we can see okay, this is the tables, we have roles, we have APIs for each table, and everything you will get by default. So here what we are doing is, we are having a platform which would help us to put roles, privileges, and etc etc on the GUI. That is one thing. And second thing, it is providing with us all the exposed APIs with which our modeler can directly connect for custom queries or for the API based queries, and it can simply execute. So this is something which you might be aware, and if you don't, just try it out. So that was all about the database. And is there any specific uh, concept that you want me to cover? Please do mention in the comment section. And if you like the explanation, please do subscribe, like and share, and again mention in the comment section. So apart from the database also, if there is any use case, if there is any test concept or anything that you want me to write out, do mention. But again, 90% of my viewers are not my subscribers, so do subscribe. That will encourage me a lot. And apart from that, yeah, I think that's all for today. Please try this out, and if you are stuck anywhere, do mention it. And have a great day. Thank you.